Joining us now to discuss the incidents in New Orleans and Las Vegas is Greg Schaefer, retired supervisory special agent for the FBI. Greg, good to see you. So we got big updates on both cases yesterday. Anything in particular that stands out to you from either of the FBI's announcements?
Well, this is a great opportunity for the FBI and law enforcement as a whole to regain some of the trust and confidence of the American people. What I can tell you is this: there is zero chance that this individual in New Orleans radicalized himself without a mentor or mentors. The myth that you can self-radicalize online is just that. It's a myth. So the FBI is coming out saying he acted alone. There were no other people, helping him with the event. That may be true in the execution of the event, but I assure you, there are people that did help him plan this and certainly helped radicalize him. He did not do this on his own.
So if that's the case, would there have been any way to prevent this?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I was the supervisor of the Joint Terrorism Task Force here in Dallas, and Dallas hosts, national events every year. We had the Super Bowl in 2011. That was in charge of security for that. They have NCAA, PGA, NASCAR events. So these large events that attract large people, which attracts, the intent of violence for those that want to, to do those kind of things. So for the New Orleans Police Department and the FBI on New Year's Eve not to be able to shut down Bourbon Street and mitigate the threat and risks of a vehicle-borne incident like this is unconscionable. There is no way that that street should have been accessible by that truck. And you had the chief of police go out there and say just yesterday that she didn't know they had these bollards that were available to prevent this kind of attack. So I think law enforcement needs to take a real good, hard look at themselves and look at lessons learned and start adapting. Law enforcement, we keep changing our tactics after the events occur. Let's be more forward thinking. Let's get in front of the curve. Let's get left of bank and prevent these things from happening before they occur. And again, there's no reason whatsoever in a city such as New Orleans where they have Mardi Gras every year, they have the Sugar Bowl every year, they have the Super Bowl every 4 or 5 years. There's no reason why they should not and did not have that street blocked off for vehicular traffic.
So you speak about lessons learned. Then what's the takeaway here from what's happened?
Well, we know, you look across the globe, and we know that using a vehicle as a weapon is a tactic that the terrorism use. They use it all over the world, and they've used it here in the States on more than one occasion. Again, why didn't New Orleans police have those barriers up, or at least have larger vehicles in place, and not just a single police car that's easily moved if you ram it hard enough on the trunk side of the vehicle? It's easily moved by another vehicle traveling at the rate of speed that pickup truck was when he just made that right-hand turn. So again, there's no reason that street was not blocked off. I can't wrap my head around the fact that, again, with all the events that New Orleans has every year, that they did not have that street blocked off. It makes no sense to me.
So we've had you on the show about other incidents, school shootings, for example. Does it appear to you that these domestic threats have been on the rise in the U.S.? What do you think?
Oh, actually, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt that we are living in a more dangerous world. And we have to thank the current administration for that. I mean, with these open borders, we know there are 60,000 plus people just in New York City alone that have criminal backgrounds from the country of origin that are walking the streets of New York. That's just New York City. So there are hundreds of thousands of unvetted, unchecked, unqualified people that came across the border in the last 3 years that pose a significant and real threat to America and its sovereignty.
But what about the Las Vegas explosion? Because the deceased suspect had a decorated military background. How can this be a revelation like this, the impact of this case?
That one really perplexes me. He was a decorated war veteran. I think he had numerous Bronze Stars for bravery and gallantry. They don't hand those out. Bronze Stars are difficult to get. So, the incident in Las Vegas still has me very perplexed. And I think, again, this is a great opportunity for the FBI to show us transparency and get a deep dive on this individual and find out how this happened, because This individual is still on active duty, 10th Special Forces Group. This would be the last person that I would think would be a terrorist who would not only just not kill himself, but also, attempt to destroy other people and destroy property in front of the Trump Tower. This one makes no sense to me. But again, a great opportunity for the FBI to come through and be transparent with the American people and give us the truth of what's behind that attack, regardless of what the outcome is.
So as of now, the FBI says there's no definitive link between the New Orleans attack and the Vegas explosion, but I want your thoughts. Anything to say about the timing of the incidents on the same day?
Yeah, in my business, we don't believe in coincidences. So I think the FBI has to prove a negative. They need to go out there and prove definitively that there was no correlation between the two attacks, or they didn't have the same people in contact with one another, potentially mentoring them on what to do. So again, the fact that they did serve on the same base, that they were in the Army, the attacks occurred on the same day, they used the same app to rent the vehicle. Again, those kind of coincidences don't really exist in the law enforcement world. So we call those leads, not coincidences. So again, this is a great opportunity for the FBI to come out and be transparent and let us know what the heck's going on.
And we just have a bit of time left. What are the challenges of identifying bad actors before they commit these acts?
Well, that's the great question, and that's where it all comes down to the FBI with their intelligence background, developing informants, and what their focus is. I mean, the FBI, has lost, I think, its focus on stopping terrorism and making that the #1 priority. You have idiots out there saying the greatest threat to democracy are, right-wing extremists, white power people. They're not a threat to the nation. They're not a threat to national security, not as much as, China, Russia, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Middle Eastern terrorism is. So the FBI needs to refocus on developing informants who are embedded in these criminal organizations and these terrorist organizations, and find out what's going to happen before it happens and get in front of this. Right now, the FBI is more focused on, putting Catholics in prison or putting J6 misdemeanor trespassers in prison versus focusing on what's the real threat to America.
All right, Greg, great having your comments today. Thank you.